So you're actually getting a secondary level of unregulated amounts, of these drugs and steroids and hormones and antibiotics. So, the simplest thing to do is to, get the supplement. And I love Complement. I think they're a great company, and they actually have a formula that has B12 in it and omega-3s,
And omegas, yes.
so they have the omega formula. I think they're terrific. But if you were to ask me, the only supplement that I do is vitamin B12, and I do it on a periodic basis. Randomly we'll take a sublingual B12, or a shot in the glutes, just for, if I'm around someone who's got the shot around, I'll take it. But everything else, like, I know, right? Because how you feel. Like, to me, when I see people that are lethargic, that are lying around, that they don't have the energy, I want to cry. Like, I really want to, like, shake them alive. I'm going to do a project, by the way, and Scott, we should do this together. I don't know where you are in the world, but I'm going to go and get online at Whole Food, at Burger King, Wendy's, and McDonald's. And I have a similar skill that I think both of you have, which is the ability to talk to strangers. So I'm just going to get on the line and say, hey, what are you guys getting for lunch? What do you recommend? And then offering to buy their lunch if they will let me talk to them about nutrition. So literally, like, I feel like I'm a missionary. And then I'll buy their lunch. And I've done this before. And all of a sudden, I'm putting broccoli sprouts on their pizza, on their tamale, in their burrito, etc. And they can't even taste it, and they eat it. And then I reveal to them that I've now increased the nutritional levels of that meal by 1,000-fold, like 1,000-fold. So it's really about being, this missionary work. And what I believe, and Scott, you missed, I talked for 2 hours this morning, but sprouts have been demonized and relegated with irrational myths around food security and food safety, because there was no money behind it, right? So all of a sudden, when there's an outbreak of lettuce, you hear about it and goes away the next day. When there's an outbreak of chicken from salmonella poisoning, you don't even hear about it. They're now legally allowed to ship chicken from the farm with salmonella on it. The standard used to be 0, and now they're saying, we just can't control it. Just don't wash it, because if you wash it, you're going to be spreading that all around your kitchen. Just find some way to get it into the broiler and cook it, till it's just, all brown. Like, it's a crazy level, but it's all about the money. And what we have to understand is that everything we put in our mouth is a life or death decision. And we get to choose. And it's hard to choose, because all of the advertisements, all of the celebrities, all of the sponsorship, all the lobbying, like, is getting you to think that you need to eat these other things. So people that are tuned into here, they need to know that, wait, just take a pause, that whole food, plant-based does work, and you really can transform it, and simpler. And sprouts only came into my life, and this was this weird thing. Like, I knew about sprouts, I ate sprouts, but I always thought of them as a side dish. Then I ended up at Wonder Valley Hot Springs in the Mojave Desert, and no health food stores, no supermarkets, no farmers markets, and I still want to be healthy. And that's when I got this download from the universe that, Doug, you can sprout. You can sprout. And so I just started to sprout, and in this 1 cubic foot, I was growing these things. And then literally my entire life became dedicated to sharing this message, because I really looked around, and Ann Wigmore, tremendous inspiration for me. I loved Ann Wigmore. I've been to the Ann Wigmore Institute, Victoria Skovinskas, Brian Clement, David Avocado Wolf, Gabriel Cousins, like these are the giants ahead of me, Steve Meyerowitz, the Sprout Man, but they never like decided to play, in the big screen. Like they didn't want to cross over to mainstream and put themselves in a vulnerable place to fight the battle. And I just gave a keynote 3 weeks ago at the International Sprout Growers Association meeting. And all the sprout growers are like walking on eggshells, scared of the FDA and the USDA, and they're scared of getting like a spot inspection, or something will happen because their businesses could go out of business. And I just said, no, we have the science and the data behind us, and we need to just go forth and literally scream from the rooftops. And I'm not screaming like a madman. I'm screaming, as someone who wants to help people. So
I love it, Doug. I love
you.
your enthusiasm.
Let me ask you another question. Advanced glycation end products, AGEs, can contribute to aging. What are some cooking methods and dietary choices that can help minimize the AGAs, advanced glycation end products?
Right, so that's a great question. So advanced glycation end products, for everyone that are watching, the way to think about them is that it our tissues, whether it's their skin or arteries, are elastic and vibrant. AGEs take away that elasticity and create tissue level damage that can lead to a host of other problems. And one way to think about it, the advanced glycation end products, AGEs, they age your body when you're exposed to them. And they largely come from kind of two things. One is the high heat cooking of meat or those proteins. And a lot of the blackening that you might see, heterocyclic amines on the meat contributes to AGEs. Also cooking carbohydrates, the high heat cooking of carbohydrates where you get the sugars that get the glycation that create these cross linkings that actually end up damaging the tissue. So whenever we're cooking processed carbohydrates or meat at high temperatures, we're creating AGEs, which is largely the American diet: processed food, baked goods, and meat products. So when we're cooking in a plant-based diet, we're just treating our vegetables gently, trying to get more of our food from raw sources as possible. And then when you do cook food, you're cooking it gently, being kind to it, and you'll avoid the formation of these AGEs. And, not all cooking is disadvantageous. Sometimes when we cook food, it releases or activates some of the antioxidants that may not be available in raw food. And for a lot of people, a raw diet can be challenging. And so adding some cooked food to your plate can be a way to maintain a healthy diet. But if you cook the food gently, light steaming, light heat, you're not going to form those AGEs, and you'll have food that works with you. But again, it's like Doug is mentioning, the more that we can eat raw, and I always advocate for if you were thinking about your plate, at least half of your plate is a big salad, raw vegetables. If you're going to do 25%, you could have something else raw there or a lightly cooked vegetable, and then your cooked dish, whatever you're cooking. And in that way, it becomes a very easy, sustainable diet with very low advanced glycation end products and nutrients that are going to work with your body to begin regenerating those systems that are going to heal.
Thank you. I'm not sure if this has to do with your expertise, but please comment. We've spoken about a bunch of regular diseases and health challenges. There's also a lot of people that are concerned about osteoporosis, arthritis, hip replacements, knee replacements. Does anything in your diet and lifestyle impact these things?
Oh, yes. Just as a 1 minute background, my original coming out of residency was physical medicine rehabilitation. I was a sports and spine physician. So I was a team doctor at Lehigh University, team doctor with the United States bobsled team. And so I have operated largely in that musculoskeletal world and can fused lifestyle medicine and musculoskeletal medicine. So I'll just really go through a quick overview of this, but yes, your lifestyle has a dramatic impact on